Off the top of my head, I can probably name at least 5 things that you do every time you go to Disney World. These are things like taking pictures of Cinderella Castle or eating something Mickey-shaped, just to name a couple, but there are likely tons of things you've never done in Disney World before, and that's what we're talking about today on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog. Disney World is known for its impressive rides, immersive restaurants, themed resorts, hotels, but what about the experiences that go unnoticed? I think you'll be surprised to hear about some of the things I'm talking about today, and there will be plenty of activities that you've never done before. And hey, maybe you'll want to do them during your next trip. All right, are you ready? Let's get into the 50 things you've never done in Disney World. Want a cheat sheet of all these exclusive experiences? Head to disneyfoodblog.com/never to get a copy of all 50 things you've never done in Disney World, and we'll sign you up for a totally free newsletter so you don't miss finding out more unique and new experiences. The first one is played foot golf. Not only have you probably never played foot golf, but it's also highly possible that you've never heard of it before either. Disney World has 4 golf courses, and at the Oak Trail Golf Course, there's a 9-hole foot golf course as well. So what's foot golf? It's basically a combination of soccer and golf. The design of the game is the same as golf, but instead of using golf clubs and golf balls, you're kicking a soccer ball into a hole. Get it? It's golf with your feet, hence foot golf. This can be a fun activity if you've got golfers in your family, but you're looking for an activity that the whole group can do. Next one is renting boats. All throughout Disney World, you'll come across different bodies of water like Seven Seas Lagoon, Crescent Lake, and Bay Lake. And no, before you ask, they are not all interconnected. And yes, you probably know about the ferry that you can take from the Transportation and Ticket Center to the Magic Kingdom, or the friendship boats that take you between Epcot, the Boardwalk, and Hollywood Studios. But beyond those options, there are actually a lot of different boats you can rent and operate yourself. Options include motorized boats at resorts like the Contemporary, Polynesian, and Beach Club, or canoes and kayaks at Fort Wilderness and Coronado Springs. Currently, with the COVID-19 precautions, boat rentals are not available, but in the before times and in the after times, you will expect the experience to run you between $32 and $45 per half hour, depending on which type of boat you choose. If you're interested in a kayak or canoe, those are currently available and cost $13 per hour, making it a more affordable option. Renting boats will give you a different perspective of Disney World. It's super cool to take out a pontoon boat for the afternoon, maybe have a snack, take some pictures, go check out Discovery Island, and other things you've never seen before in Disney World. It can be a really relaxing way to spend a few hours away from the parks. All right, now did you know you could go horseback riding in Disney World? I bet a lot of you have never done that while you've been there. It's not uncommon to see Merida or Gaston coming down Main Street, USA on horseback right now, but have you ever ridden a horse in Disney World yourself? Well, over at Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, you can visit Tri-Circle D Ranch to embark on a horseback riding adventure of your own. Those 9 and older can take a ride on the scenic trails of the resort that are filled with trees and other wildlife. It is a guided ride. You're not going to be trotting or running or galloping or anything. You're pretty much just walking. So if you are a horseman or woman, then this probably isn't going to be your speed. But if you're new to horseback riding, or if you're with someone who is, then this can be a really fun adventure. And it costs $55 per person for a 45-minute ride. People don't normally go to Disney World to take a ride through a forest, so this could be a different experience for you. Now, have you unlocked Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Nope, not talking about just going there, unlocking it. The Play Disney Parks app offers a lot of fun entertainment that allows you to interact more with the lands and attractions around you while you're in Disney World. That, of course, is an app on your phone that you can download for free. It includes trivia, games, and music that connect you to the different elements that surround you. One great way to use this app is to play games while you're standing in line waiting for a ride. Now, this is pretty cool, but when you visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the app really takes it to the next level. Once in Batuu, which is the planet where Galaxy's Edge exists, the Play Disney Parks app becomes a Star Wars data pad that allows you to become further immersed in the land. With the app, you can interact with droids, decode different languages like Arabesh, hack into control panels, and lots more. You can also participate and work toward different missions that have to do with Rise of the Resistance and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. It's a really cool feature that will make you feel more involved in the land and can be fun for huge Star Wars fans or even those who are just along for the ride. Plus, it's free. Huge perk. Okay, have you upgraded your Disney souvenirs? During your Disney World trip, you might see guests wearing brightly colored buttons that say things like happily ever after and I'm celebrating, first visit, or happy birthday with something written on the button. Well, you can get these too, and they're totally free. Most merchandise locations will have them, and you might be able to find them at your hotel as well. You can ask for a button, and if you'd like something written on it, a cast member can customize it for you. But if you want to take it up a notch, you can go to one of the shops where they do personalizing stuff like Christmas ornaments, and you can make your button look real fancy. In Magic Kingdom, Ye Olde Christmas Shop is one of these spots where there are artists doing personalizations of Christmas ornaments. Now, the cast members there have stunning handwriting, and you can have them add some extra magic to your celebration button too. It'll cost $3 per word, which isn't a whole lot, for some extra bling, and basically a save it forever souvenir. And don't forget to have your special message covered in a little Scotch tape so it's Splash Mountain proof. Okay, have you had dinner with rare characters? Well, character meals, which means you're eating with the characters, you're not eating the characters, are harder to come by these days, especially those that include rare characters. Previously, the Beach Club Resort would host Captain Hook's Pirate Crew for Kids, a fun night of piratey entertainment and dinner. Kids are given a special pirate name, they learn to talk like a pirate, swab the deck, and go on a treasure hunt. Even the dinner includes nautical eats like cannon meatballs with marinara and treasure chest treats for dessert. The event costs $55 per kid, and parents can go enjoy a relaxing night at Disney's Boardwalk in the meantime. At this time, Captain Hook's Pirate Crew event is unavailable, but you can keep an eye on DisneyFoodblog.com for all the latest news about reopenings and returning offerings. And don't forget, they also do a pirate adventure at the Contemporary Resort too, and several other resorts that have access to waterways also do the pirate adventure. Have you been to a campfire at Disney World? Campfires are offered at most Disney World hotels, and they're totally free. And not only are there just campfires, but they'll also host movies under the stars where you can watch popular Disney movies while hanging out on the grass. For even more fun, Fort Wilderness Resort hosts a big sing-along campfire. This is seriously cool, and I haven't talked about it on the channel for a long time. And this is one of the only places where you can see Disney characters for free. Chip and Dale pay a visit to that big sing-along campfire at Fort Wilderness, and they join in on the fun, and they're there every single night when this campfire and sing-along is happening. And there's also an option to make s'mores. You can either bring your own s'mores or buy a kit from the Chuck Wagon snack bar. Unfortunately, that Chip and Dale sing-along isn't being offered right now due to COVID protocols and because character meet and greets are suspended, but we've seen the regular campfires taking place since the park's reopening, so there's definitely the opportunity to have a campfire at your hotel. And s'mores. Those are COVID proof. And since the Chip and Dale sing-along is so popular, I'm pretty sure it will be back one of these days. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you're paying big bucks to stay at a Disney World hotel, so you really should take advantage of those perks that it offers. Okay, we talked about horseback riding, but have you gone for a horse-drawn carriage ride? Horse-drawn carriage rides can normally be found at Port Orleans Resort and Fort Wilderness. Currently, due to COVID, this isn't being offered, but when it is and when they're back, you can expect a relaxing ride through a scenic atmosphere like the Forest of Fort Wilderness or the Sassagoula River at Port Orleans. The ride itself costs $55 and will last 25 minutes, accommodating up to 4 adults. Sometimes you really gotta find time to relax during what's probably a very busy Disney World vacation, and this might just be a great way of doing that. By the way, if a carriage ride isn't your jam or you have more than 4 people, Fort Wilderness will often also offer wagon rides, and those accommodate a lot more folks. So definitely ask a cast member about those. They're super fun. And this is a great thing to do after you've had dinner at Hoop-de-Doo Review. All right, let's talk Surrey Bikes. Just in case regular bikes aren't interesting enough for you, Disney World also has Surrey Bikes. Surrey Bikes have 4 wheels with rows of seats, but they're still powered with pedaling like regular bikes. You can rent 2 or 4 person Surrey Bikes at Disney's Boardwalk, Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, and Port Orleans resorts for $25 per person. With one of these, your entire family, depending on how big it is, can board one vehicle and not have to worry about anyone getting too far behind. If you're looking for a unique alternative to the bike rides you go on at home, these are a fun option, but be aware. Know where those hills are, you guys, because those Surrey bikes, especially if you got a bunch of little kids on there who aren't really powering the bike, it can be exhausting to go up a lot of those hills pushing that whole Surrey bike with your feet. So just be prepared and bring along another adult who has a little, foot power. Okay, have you ever paid to skip the lines in Disney World? Now, I know what you're going to say. AJ, Disney World's Fast Pass service is free. Yes, exactly. Fast Pass is free. And that allows you to wait in shorter lines for select rides of your choosing. But there are also ways you can pay to skip the lines. Disney has different types of tours that give you the opportunity to ride your favorite rides more efficiently without having to wait in any lines at all. This means you don't have to worry about booking just 3 fast passes at one park. You can go on all the rides in all the parks without waiting. One example is the Ultimate Day of Thrills VIP tour, which includes rides like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Space Mountain, Tower of Terror, Slinky Dog Dash, and more for $349. There's also the Ultimate Disney Classic VIP tour, which includes, wait for it, classic Disney World rides. You'll be led by a VIP tour guide throughout Magic Kingdom to experience attractions like Jungle Cruise, Mad Tea Party, Peter Pan's Flight, and other staples for $249. These tours are pricey on their own, but in addition, you'll also need to have a valid park ticket for that day, which drives it up by approximately another $100 per person. And of course, there are the regular VIP tours that you can book for you and your buddies, but those are a minimum of 7 hours at several $100s per hour, which means you're going to be paying in the thousands for sure. That said, if you only have one day at Disney World and you want to get all of it done, well, that's a great way to do it. And there are, of course, other VIP tours, some that range up to $12,000. Those are all listed on Disney World's website if that's your jam. Currently, not all VIP tours are available, but several are, so you just got to check that out on the Disney World website. Stay tuned to Disney Food Blog, and we'll let you know when others return. Okay, have you gotten your hair cut in Disney World? The Harmony Barbershop can be found right near the entrance of Magic Kingdom on the left side of Main Street. It's got a nostalgic feeling to it that fits in perfectly with the rest of Main Street and is the place to get an actual haircut in Disney World. Beyond regular haircuts for adults and children, Harmony Barbershop also has a special package for a child's first ever haircut. It includes a milestone certificate, a celebratory Mickey ear hat, and you can keep a lock of hair as a memento, which is all totally adorable. These haircuts start at $18, and they're definitely a very out of the ordinary way to spend your time in Magic Kingdom. The barbershop is currently closed for health and safety reasons, but we'll be on the lookout for its reopening, and don't forget, you can book those haircuts online now. So there's no reason you have to stand and wait outside like you used to have to do. All right, next thing you've never done in Disney World before, dunked a basketball. Since 2019, Disney Springs has been home to the NBA Experience. Now, this is a store full of basketball-themed merchandise, but there's also a whole bunch of activities where you can show off your basketball skills, or lack thereof, depending on who you are. There are dunking and shooting challenges, dribbling drills led by a virtual coach, arcade games, and so many more experiences for players of any experience level. Guests can also check out player stats, team rosters, and see how their height measures up to well-known NBA players. Currently, the NBA Experience is unavailable, but when it reopens, it might be a fun air-conditioned excursion for the basketball lover in your family, and it's a good spot to go on those rainy days. Now, something else you maybe have never done in Disney World before, a lot of people haven't, is watched the fireworks from a boat. When Magic Kingdom and Epcot are hosting their nightly fireworks shows, you can have the opportunity to rent a boat for an extraordinary viewing of the nighttime show from the water. For the full experience, the show's audio is piped into the boat speakers to make it just as immersive as it would be if you were inside the park. During your cruise, you're accompanied by a captain and provided with snacks and soft drinks, along with the option for your boat to be decorated with celebratory banners and decorations if it's your birthday or anniversary or whatever. Pricing for the smallest option, which is a pontoon boat carrying 8 guests, starts at $299. If you want something a little bigger, there's a 25-foot boat that can carry 10 guests, starting at $349. And for the ultimate fireworks cruise, you can always rent that Grand One yacht with 18 guests or 17 guests and a butler. This one costs a whopping $399 per hour. So if you want to try one of these as a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see the fireworks from a different vantage point away from the massive crowds, you can definitely look into that on the Disney World website. Now, have you ever gone fishing in Disney World? Yep, another water activity. Fishing is available at Fort Wilderness, Caribbean Beach Resort, Old Key West, Contemporary, and other water-facing resorts. Whether you're an experienced fisher person or this is your first time giving it a go, there are options available. There are guided fishing trips on a 21-foot pontoon boat for up to 5 guests, or a bass fishing boat that can accommodate up to 2 people. You can choose to have your trip last either 2 or 4 hours, depending on how long you want to take your chances at catching some fish. And during your trip, you'll be provided with an experienced guide, tackle, bait, fishing rod, and soft drinks. When Port Orleans Riverside is open, you can also try out dockside fishing in the water there. It's important to keep in mind that you won't be able to hold on to what you've caught. It's catch and release only. Disney highly recommends making reservations in advance for your fishing excursion. Now, have you ever had a celebrity sighting in Disney World? Sometimes celebrities are spotted there. We recently saw John Stamos and JoJo Siwa. Those random sightings obviously can't be planned in advance, but if you want to guarantee a celebrity spotting during your trip, there are a couple of ways to try and do that. During the Festival of the Holidays, Epcot hosts a candlelight processional. This is a holiday celebration filled with songs and storytelling and hosted by a celebrity narrator every night. Notable hosts of the past include Neil Patrick Harris, Whoopi Goldberg, Pat Sajak, and a lot more. It's not something that you'll have to buy a ticket for, so you sometimes have to get there really early to wait in line to increase your chances at getting a spot for the show. However, there is a dining package option that includes reserved seating. We always recommend doing that because you got to eat anyway, right? Also, during the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival, celebrity chefs often make appearances for culinary demonstrations. You can purchase a ticket to see popular chefs in action cooking up some of their signature dishes. Similar to the candlelight processional, these cooking demos did not take place during last year's Food and Wine Festival, so we're waiting to see if they'll be back this year. Another spot that celebrities frequent is Disney Springs for different events. Normally, you can find this information ahead of time on Disney Springs' social media accounts. Disney artists often make appearances at the Art of Disney, and Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano, has held events a handful of times. So although a celebrity sighting isn't guaranteed during your trip, there are a couple of ways to increase your chances. Have you taken a ride in a hot air balloon in Disney World? You may not think that Disney Springs has any rides, but you're wrong. You can take a ride in the Aerophile, which is the world's largest hand-painted helium balloon, according to Disney. If you want to ride, hopefully you aren't afraid of heights. The Aerophile brings you 400 feet into the air above Lake Buena Vista. Along with that height, though, comes some pretty impressive views of Disney World and up to 10 miles away on an especially clear day because Orlando's real flat, so you can see everything. Keep in mind that the balloon is unavailable during storms or when there are excessive winds, so if you're planning ahead to go up in the Aerophile, definitely check the weather ahead of time. The 8-minute balloon rides cost $25 per adult and $20 per child ages 3 to 9. Now this one I love, and I always want to spread the word about this. Have you watched the Flag Retreat in Magic Kingdom? If you know your Disney World trivia, you may know that there's only one real American flag on Main Street, USA in Magic Kingdom. The others look real, but they're actually missing stars and/or stripes. This is because official American flags are supposed to only be displayed between sunrise and sunset or appropriately illuminated during the night. In order to avoid having to raise and lower all the flags each and every day, cast members hold a flag retreat ceremony for the one real flag displayed at the top of Main Street in Town Square. You can see the lowering of the flag every day, and it's a special and memorable experience because Disney usually does bring a veteran into the ceremony to help. Now here's something I've never done in Disney World before: lived there. Maybe you've been to Disney World so many times that it feels like you live there, but you probably don't actually live there. Did you know there's an entire neighborhood on Disney World property? So yes, you can actually live there, but at a big price. Golden Oak is a luxury housing community made up of multi-million-dollar homes that are just massive and over-the-top impressive. Besides having an incredible home on Disney World property, Golden Oak members also have access to an exclusive clubhouse with dining options and amenities, special events and experiences, transportation to and from the parks, special concierge, and a lot more. So if you want, maybe you can live there eventually, but definitely start saving. Now, have you received a wake-up call from Mickey Mouse himself? Even if you're not a morning person, Disney can find a way to make waking up in the morning a little bit more magical. If you're staying at a Disney resort hotel, there's a way to get your very own wake-up call from one of your Disney buddies. Press the wake-up call button on your resort room's phone and follow the instructions to select what time you'd like to receive your wake-up call. When it's time to rise and shine, you'll be awoken by a cheerful character rather than the blaring buzzer on your alarm. Next thing you maybe have never done in Disney World before, been to a pool party. This is another cool thing to take advantage of if you're staying at a Disney World resort. Your hotel's pool will actually host fun parties filled with activities like trivia, dance parties, games, you name it. Cast members are always changing up the activities so you can be surprised by what's on the agenda. Not to mention these parties are also free, however, they're only available for those staying at that specific resort, so not any regular park guests can just mosey on in. Carve out some time during your trip to relax by the pool, and maybe you'll do even more than swimming. But heads up, these are also the things that cause a lot of noise in the middle of the day if you have a pool facing room. So there's definitely another side to the coin on this one. Now, have you ever eaten a cake in Disney World that has been created just for you? Disney World's got hundreds of different dessert options available in the form of massive cookies, beautiful cupcakes, peanut buttery treats, and so much more, but there are ways to get a cake custom made just for your celebration. There's a cake hotline, of course, who doesn't need a cake hotline, where you can discuss cake flavors, designs, frosting, and where you want your cake to be delivered. Keep in mind that these personalized cakes will need to be ordered in advance, sometimes a week in advance, sometimes 48 hours in advance. It depends on where you're getting it. Now, there are lots of options to make this special cake everything you want it to be, and you can find all the information you need to know on our Disney World Cakes FAQ page on the blog. Now, have you had a cocktail with a story in Disney World? Similar to the plentiful dessert options, there are also lots of cocktails on the menu throughout the parks and resorts. At Enchanted Rose Lounge in Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, you can actually order a couple of cocktails that have their very own story, Amour and Envy. The Amour combines Grey Goose vodka with Pavin Liqueur de France, pear, chamomile tea, agave, and rose petal. The Envy is made with Calvados brandy, green chartreuse, green apple puree, bitters, and an apple chip. Not only do the drinks include fascinating flavors, but they also come along with an interesting tale. A tale as old as time, we might say. Oh, that was cheesy. Luckily, I ad-libbed that and nobody actually wrote it because I'd feel bad. When you order these drinks, a cast member will prepare them tableside on a cart while relating the drinks to the tale of Beauty and the Beast. The lounge is inspired by the movie after all, and so these two drinks are pricey, but, they add that Disney touch. Not only did we enjoy these drinks when we tried them, along with everything on the menu at Enchanted Rose, they also provide a charming experience that you wouldn't normally expect from just ordering some cocktails. So you kind of get, a drink and a show. All right, loving to tell you about this. Have you ever done karaoke in Disney World? Now, nightlife might not be at the front of your mind when you're thinking about a Disney World trip, but there are actually some fun options. If you like getting up and singing, or you just want to let loose while you're on vacation, go do some karaoke. The spot that offers karaoke normally flies under the radar. It's Kimonos at the Walt Disney World Swan Hotel. Kimonos not only has an extensive sushi menu, but also a big menu of karaoke songs, including throwbacks and current songs. Now, sometimes karaoke doesn't start until a little bit later in the evening, so you're not going to be able to go at like 6 p.m. and do it. Last time I was there, it started at 10, so I'll have to check and make sure I've got the time right, but you definitely want to see what hours that's happening. Now, have you actually explored all the World Showcase pavilions and seen everything? There's more than just drinking or eating around the world when it comes to Epcot's World Showcase. If you've taken a trip around the showcase, you've probably passed every country, but have you actually gone in and explored? There are so many remarkable and immersive details throughout the pavilions to see that you could honestly spend an extra couple of days in Epcot just checking out the pavilions. Certain ones might be more extensive than you'd think. If you walk all the way to the back of the China, Morocco, and Japan pavilions, you'll realize that there's so much to check out that maybe you've never seen before. The Morocco pavilion includes some winding alleys with really beautiful and picturesque designs. It's also pretty quiet back there, so it's a good spot to take a break from the crowds and relax, or maybe do a little photo shoot. Japan has the most to offer in terms of unique souvenirs. Mitsukoshi Department Store has items that you won't likely find anywhere else in Disney World, like Gudetama plushes, kimonos, Animal Crossing merchandise, and of course, swords. You can spend so much time looking around at all the different things they have on display there, and it's a nice break from everything covered in Mickey Mouse. Now, I can remember when I was working in New York City that I actually purchased a blazer from Mitsukoshi Department Store. It was beautiful. And I wore it to a pretty high-level business meeting at the Four Seasons in New York, and I got some great compliments on it. So when people said, "Hey, where did you get that blazer?" I got to say, Disney World. Now, next time you're in Epcot, take a minute to look at all the details surrounding you. You might really be surprised. Okay, have you ever met a non-Disney character in Disney World? Sure, you may have met the Fab Five, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto, some Disney princesses, or even some Pixar pals, but you've probably never met a character that has nothing to do with Disney World in Disney World before. At the Coca-Cola store in Disney Springs, meet and greets are offered with the Coca-Cola Polar Bear. This experience isn't currently available since character meet and greets are suspended, but normally the polar bear would be hanging out on the second floor of the store taking pictures with guests. And if that wasn't enough, it's 7 feet tall. Okay, next thing you never done in Disney World, take advantage of those free souvenirs. Earlier, I mentioned the free celebration buttons you can find in the parks, but those aren't the only free souvenirs available in Disney World. There are dozens of types of free stickers you can collect too. Different cast members will have these, like those working in merchandise locations. You just need to ask and see if they've got anything. You can also collect free transportation cards and tokens from transportation cast members. There are different cards for the specific monorails, buses, minivans, and more. This is a great thing for your kids to do in Disney World. It's like a little scavenger hunt for them to collect all of those souvenirs. All right, have you really spent some time searching for the animals in the Tree of Life carvings in Animal Kingdom? Yep, that Tree of Life centerpiece looks really impressive from afar, but it might be even more intriguing as you get closer to it. Hundreds of carvings make up the tree's trunk, and when you get up close and personal, you can make out which animals are hidden there. You'll find both existing and extinct species, and much more than just your standard elephants, giraffes, and tigers. You can spot some really rare creatures like seahorses, porcupines, jellyfish, and literally hundreds more. Plus, the trails that surround the Tree of Life are normally really quiet. Nobody knows they're there. So this is another good location to escape the crowds. Speaking of Animal Kingdom, have you had hands-on animal encounters? I know we're not talking about ducks and squirrels. One section of Animal Kingdom that most people don't visit during their trip is Rafiki's Planet Watch. You have to take a little train over to that section of the park, so it takes a little extra time. But there you're going to find attractions like the Affection section, the Animation Experience, and Disney's Veterinary Treatment Room. If you've never been over there, you might not know that you can actually have hands-on experiences with the animals, since the Affection section is basically a petting zoo. There are goats, sheep, pigs, and other friendly guys to pet if you're really missing your pets from home while you're away. And of course, Rafiki's Planet Watch is a godsend for parents of toddlers. This is a great place to go where your kids can pet some animals, take a train ride, and even try to draw their own Disney character. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the nightlife in Disney World, because a lot of people don't think it exists. And to be fair, it's not significant, but there are things to do after dinner in Disney World. Now, Disney Springs is probably going to be the place to be if you're looking for that nighttime entertainment. The Edison is a spot for some really unique nightlife. It only allows guests 21 and over after 10 p.m., and it offers live music, aerialists, and contortionists that bring the restaurant's steampunk vibe to life. It's very 1920s, 1930s feel. Down on the west side, House of Blues has a full stage to host well-known bands from around the world. So if you're looking for something to do after the parks have closed, you're not totally out of luck. Entertainment options haven't all fully returned at this time, so be sure to check in with the specific restaurant you're hoping to visit before you go. All right, now, have you swum with sharks? Swimmed with sharks in Disney World before? In Epcot Seas Pavilion, you can get up close and personal with a lot of different marine life. On the Epcot Seas Adventures Dive Quest Tour, scuba certified guests are able to go diving in the saltwater aquarium that's home to more than 6,000 creatures like rays, turtles, and sharks. The dive itself lasts 40 minutes, and for the remainder of your 3-hour tour, you get to go backstage and learn about the gigantic aquarium. Those not diving can watch through the huge windows inside the seas. The dive costs $179 per person. It's on the long list of things that are not yet available in Disney World right now, but we hope they'll be coming back. All right, here's one I'm not sure even I've done, and that's experienced every scenario on Star Tours. In Hollywood Studios, a ride on Star Tours will take you on a 3D journey through the galaxy led by C-3PO. Throughout your tumultuous journey, you'll encounter fan favorite characters like Boba Fett, Kylo Ren, and Princess Leia, but your experience will be different pretty much every time you ride. The places you visit, scenarios you encounter, and characters you see during your journey change every time. The changes in your journey are random, and there are more than 60 different combinations of what could happen. Unless you're riding Star Tours every single hour of every single day, you're probably not going to experience all the different combos while you're there. So definitely tally up how many you've seen. Next on our list, have you had dinner with an Imagineer? Though it's not being offered right now, select Disney World restaurants like the Hollywood Brown Derby and Citrico's normally have a unique dining experience available where guests can actually have a meal with a Disney Imagineer. The Imagineer that you dine with could be from any sector of the company. You never really know who you're going to meet. And you could chat with them about their experiences, career, and expertise over a 4-course meal. If you're a Disney history buff or curious to know a little more about what goes on behind the scenes, you might want to check this out if and when it returns. And if you are an Imagineer or married to an Imagineer, well, then you don't have to pay the money to eat with an Imagineer. You get to do it every day. Good for you. All right, next on our list, have you ordered a secret menu item, a secret drink, or a secret meal? You might have heard about the secret menu at Starbucks, but did you know that Disney World has a few of its own secret menu items? We've covered some of these secret menus in our recent videos on the channel, so you can check those out next. It's true, though, there are secret menus at Disney World, but you have to know where to find them. Recently, we tried some super secret pork satay skewers and that Brazilian cheese bread at Skipper Canteen in Magic Kingdom. Other spots that are known for having secret menus include Grand Floridian Cafe, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, and Deluxe Burger. Next time you want to stray from the standard menu, check out all of our info about Disney World's best kept secret menus. We're not talking about DVC. You can learn everything you need to know about which locations offer a secret menu and which secret menus are worth trying in our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. This is an 800+ page guide, and it truly covers it all when it comes to Disney World food, whether it's your first or your 50th trip. You can find that at dfbstore.com. Don't forget to use code YouTube for a discount. Now, have you had dinner with a safari? Animal Kingdom Lodge has a savannah, which is home to over 30 species of animals. And sure, you can see some of the animals from the lookout points at the resort or from the large windows at Sanaa. But for something a little more intimate, you can take a private tour of the savannah. The Wanyami Safari Tour and Dinner pairs the experience of seeing exotic animals with a delicious dinner from Jiko, the cooking place. The 90-minute tour brings 12 guests along with a guide to see the animals on property from an uncommon perspective. Dinner at Jiko includes a sample menu of African-inspired eats plus dessert and wine pairings, and the entire experience costs $209 per person. Though it is temporarily unavailable at this time, you can still check out the animals from those viewing locations throughout the resort, and stay tuned to the DFB newsletter for when these events come back. Now, this is something a lot of people don't know exists at Disney World for years and years and years, and that's shooting a bow and arrow. Yep, they have archery at Disney World. Over at Fort Wilderness, you can join the likes of Merida from Brave by trying out archery sessions for $45. And no, Merida's not actually there, so don't take that the wrong way. Guests 7 and up can learn how to shoot a bow and arrow with a training followed by target practice. Archery guides lead the 75-minute session and give out personalized tips and advice to help the archers be as successful as possible. This is one way to really get in touch with your adventurous side if that was something that made it to your vacation itinerary. Now, have you sung along with dueling pianos in Disney World? Another nightlife option is Jelly Rolls on the boardwalk. Though it's not yet open, this is a lively bar where the main form of entertainment is dueling pianos. Guests can put in requests for songs they want played on the pianos, whether they're classics, new hits, or even Disney songs. And it's not uncommon for the whole place to be singing along to Happily Ever After or It's a Small World, which allows no room for you to question whether or not you're in Disney World. You can also find dueling pianos at the new Captain's Sing-Along Brunch at the Boathouse in Disney Springs. And pro tip, wear a Captain's Hat or Boathouse shirt to brunch to get a free mimosa. If you're looking to croon along with some dueling pianos, these are the spots to find them once Jelly Rolls opens up, of course. Now, have you seen things from a rat's eye view yet? We're getting closer and closer to the opening of Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Epcot. This ride is designed to shrink guests down until they're rat-sized as they scramble through Gusteau's kitchen on an exciting adventure. You'll have the perspective of an actual rat during this ride, so you definitely haven't done this before unless you spent any time crawling around Disney World, or of course if you've ridden this ride in Disneyland Paris. However, you can start doing this beginning October 1st when the ride opens. All right, I love this next one. Have you gotten a massage in Disney World? Senses Spa can be found at the Grand Floridian and Saratoga Springs resorts, and sometimes it's important to fit a little relaxation into your Disney World trip amidst all that running around and park hopping that you're doing. Many massage options are available at these spas and others in the Disney World property area, although they aren't particularly cheap. The least expensive option at a Disney hotel is $135 for just under an hour. But this could be something special to do. When you ask people what they did on their Disney vacation, you're expecting to hear answers like took pictures with Cinderella Castle or got It's a Small World stuck in my head for 3 days. You're not expecting someone to tell you they got a massage, so if you want to be different, try it out. The spas are currently closed, but once they're open, it can finally be time to relax. All right, we bet you've never actually left Disney World. Yes, you're going to leave Disney World to head home, but a lot of people spend their whole trip between their hotel and Disney's theme parks. Maybe you plan to visit Universal during your trip, but consider expanding your vacation beyond even just Orlando theme parks. Downtown Orlando has great restaurants from chefs you may recognize from Disney Springs. Polite Pig and Four Rivers are Disney outposts from local famous chefs. If you don't mind a bit of a drive, you can hit up the beach or check out Kennedy Space Center. If you have some folks in your travel group that aren't sold on a week-long Disney experience, remember there's plenty of non-Disney stuff to do in Central Florida. All right, have you gone bowling in Disney World before? Splitsville Luxury Lanes at Disney Springs is the go-to spot if you're looking to go bowling while at Disney World. Beyond standard bowling, there's also feather bowling, live music, pool tables, TVs galore, and the food isn't half bad either. We recently tried some refillable spiked Dole Whip from Splitsville, and it was just as delicious as it sounds. Now, long story short, this isn't your average bowling alley. Plus, it stays open till 11 p.m. if you're looking for some entertainment later in the night. Next thing you've maybe never done in Disney World before, attended a food and wine pairing event. During the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival in the fall, certain restaurants in Disney World, I shouldn't even say in the fall, right? It starts in July now, so in the summer or fall, certain restaurants in the World Showcase offer special food and wine pairing events. We've been able to attend a tequila pairing in Mexico, a pizza and beer pairing in Italy, and lots of other special dining adventures. They weren't available during last year's Food and Wine Festival, so we'll have to keep checking back to see what's going to be on the agenda for the 2021 festival, which is taking place between July 15th and November 20th. To learn more about the events and the Food and Wine Festival as a whole, we have a guide specifically dedicated to this festival since there's so much food involved. We want to help you make the very most of your festival day, so we review and report on everything. Go ahead over to dfbstore.com and you can pre-order the DFB guide to the 2021 Epcot International Food and Wine Festival, and then you'll get the 2020 guide for free so you can start your planning. Now, another thing you've probably never done in Disney World before, driven on the water. At Disney Springs, you can find vintage Amphicars, real-life Amphicars, right next to the boathouse. These are vintage cars that turn into a boat, allowing you to take an unconventional cruise on Lake Buena Vista. No worries, you don't need to figure out how to operate the car-turned-boat yourself. You'll have a driver captain to guide you through the waterways. It's a different way to check out Disney Springs, but it does come at a price. A 20-minute ride will normally cost you $125 for 3 to 4 guests. However, when Disney Springs reopened last summer, we saw Amphicar rides being offered for $75 because guests weren't allowed to sit up front with the driver for social distancing purposes. So there's a tiny discount right now. All right, something else you've never done in Disney World before, I bet, gone surfing. When Typhoon Lagoon is open, surf lessons are held on select days before the water park opens. The 2.5-hour session is taught by surfing pros and includes any surf equipment you might need during the lessons. A continental breakfast is included, and you get access to photos of you riding the waves or massively wiping out. Take your pick. These surfing lessons cost $199 per person, but unlike most of Disney's other in-park experiences, it doesn't require an additional water park ticket unless you plan to spend the rest of the day there. Now, have you ever attended a culinary demonstration in Disney World? Not exactly the thing you think about when you plan a Disney World trip, right? Well, earlier when I mentioned your opportunities to spot celebrities in the parks, I talked about the culinary demonstrations that happen during the Food and Wine Festival. So really, by attending one of these demos, you're kind of crossing 2 things off of this list. If you're really into cooking or just want to see what it takes to cook like a pro, check out one of these demonstrations to see how it's done. And the best part of all is that you get to eat the food at the end. Keep in mind that these demos do typically sell out really quickly, so you're going to want to be prepared when tickets become available. And they're not too pricey either, with the most recent prices we've seen at $19 per seminar. Now, we bet you've never spent $300 per person on dinner. Unless you're living the treat yourself life every day, you probably haven't spent over $500 on a single meal for two people, at least not in Disney World. Whether you're splurging on a special occasion dinner at Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian or opting for caviar and oysters at Kappa at the Four Seasons, there are a few Disney World restaurants and experiences that definitely set you back a much prettier penny than most Disney World restaurants. Victoria and Albert's is the creme de la creme of Disney fine dining, but there are other signature restaurants, as Disney calls them, like Takumite and Epcot's Japan Pavilion, Narcoossee's, also at the Grand Floridian, and Morimoto Asia and Disney Springs that can help you rack up a bill well over the $200 mark depending on what you order. So if you're in for a celebration, it might be time to do this first in Disney World. All right, maybe you're not scuba certified, but you still want to get up close and personal with some marine life. Well, maybe you've never gotten up close and personal with dolphins in Disney World. Yep, it's time to talk about Epcot's Dolphins in-depth experience. You can have a 3-hour encounter with Disney World's Dolphins in the Seas Pavilion, where you'll go backstage to learn about the different caretaking procedures, training processes, and of course you get to interact with the dolphins firsthand. The water's only about waist deep, so you won't actually be swimming with them, but for 30 minutes you can hang out with some bottlenose dolphins and snag a special photo with them too. The experience costs $199 per person, but hasn't become available again just yet. All right, this is a super fun one. Have you had a professional photo shoot in Disney World? Now, I know a lot of you probably have, but this is a different spin. If you'd like to upgrade from your selfie sessions in front of Cinderella Castle, Magic Kingdom offers a special photo pass package that's perfect for documenting special occasions or, just because. One Capture Your Moment session gives you 20 minutes dedicated to picture taking, but you can book a second one back to back for 40 minutes total and the opportunity to take photos in a second location. You don't have to worry about one person missing from the picture or rely on strangers to take subpar photos of your family with this experience. And remember, Disney World recently changed its face covering policy so that you can temporarily remove your mask for pictures outdoors, so long as you're stationary and safely distanced from other guests. Even though you're paying for this Capture Your Moment session, it's important to know that photos are not included in the cost. You'll have to pay extra to get the photos. But if you have a qualifying annual pass or memory maker, Disney's PhotoPass product that allows you to pay ahead of time to have access to all of your photos, then you will get your photos for no extra cost. All right, have you seen Backstage in Disney World before? If you're curious about what goes on backstage where guests aren't allowed to go, you can pay a lot extra to get a sneak peek. Disney has a few backstage magic tours where you can see what goes into the making of some iconic parts of Disney World. During the backstage magic tour, you'll take a look at the costuming department, the engineering behind the American Adventure in Epcot, and the one I'm sure you're all waiting for, a tour of the infamous Utilidors, the tunnels that run below Magic Kingdom. The 7-hour tour costs $275, but it could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to check out some of the undetected parts of Disney World. Definitely keep an eye on the Disney World website and our newsletter to see when these backstage tours come back. All right, have you ridden a Segway in Disney World? If we've learned anything during this video, it's that Fort Wilderness has all the cool outdoor activities. On the Wilderness Back Trail Adventure, you get to explore the resort on a guided Segway tour. Now, don't worry, if you've never interacted with a Segway before, there's a 30-minute training session where you get to practice how to maneuver the vehicle on the training course before you go. During your 2-hour tour, you'll make pit stops at Wilderness Lodge, Bay Lake, and Tri-Circle D Ranch, of course, where the horses live. Along the ride, your tour guide will share trivia, fun facts, and more through an earpiece. Not only can you check out the beautiful nature around you, but you got some extra entertainment from the tour guide too. In order to ride the Segway, guests must be 16 years or older, and it costs $90 per person. And have you taken a private tour in Disney World before? Now, for one of the most expensive things you've never done in Disney World, those private VIP tours have to rank right up there. For your tour, you'll have your own personal tour guide who's put together a customized plan for the things you want to see and do during your day. You can visit multiple parks if you'd like, ride your favorite rides without having to wait over and over again if you want, and learn all about Disney World from your tour guide. Up to 10 guests can be brought along for the tour, which lasts a minimum of 7 hours. Now, here's the kicker. The tour will cost you between $425 and $750 per hour, which doesn't even include the required park admission, aka tickets that you must have to enter the park. And of course, it also doesn't include the tip for your tour guide, which of course isn't required, but is definitely appreciated. So this gets real pricey, but if you want the VIP treatment while in Disney World, this is definitely the way to do it. Don't forget, you don't need to go back and take notes on this video. I know it was a long one. If you want all the info I just shared, you can head to disneyfoodblog.com/never to get your very own copy of the list. Well, those are the 50 things you've never done in Disney World before. If any of these activities pique your interest, consider squeezing one or two of them into your agenda for your next trip. But first, we want to know, how many of these have you done before? Which ones surprised you? We'd love to hear in the comments your thoughts on these adventures to see if it makes sense for our other viewers to do them as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, we'd love to have you join our newsletter where we send out updates on all the biggest news in Disney World. And of course, if you are not already subscribed to our channel, we'd love to have you join us here on DFB Guide. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.